trashing hotels was an art form that you learned about. It wasn't like you invented it. It was something that you had to read about. You read about the drummer from The Who driving a Cadillac into the hotel swimming pool. He went on to recite about how he was lucky, that he had heard somewhere that if you ever drove your car into a lake, that you had to open the window and let the car fill up with water. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to open the door. These were great lessons in life. We in Van Halen took it to a new level. On the second album, it says, "Special thanks to the 7th floor," and I think it was the Sheridan Inn in Madison, Wisconsin. Something amazing happened. Well, maybe nothing happened. There were festivities, room to room, carryings on, and it's a college town, so there's a lot of carrying honors to be found. You've got to understand, rock and roll is a lot like God took the map of the United States and tilted it, and everybody loose and unscrewed down rolled into my business. Well, we've heard about throwing a television out of a window. How about getting enough extension cords out of one of the trucks parked in the back of the hotel so that the television can remain plugged in all the way down to the ground? I don't know, it's just kind of an abstract, but that's what made it aesthetic. Or taking everything that you could possibly find in a given hotel room and jamming it in the closet in the bathroom. That includes the bed frame, the television set, the stand, the dressers, those colorful armoires and easy chairs that are going to have to be disassembled. Then wait outside the door once your victim comes back. You can even make it a little more poetic if you take the door off the hinges. That way you can hear the response that much better from down the hall. The science of hydraulics is taught in agricultural seminars in every major university in the world. It's part of engineering. It's part of bridge building, heavy construction, and it's a very important part of rock and roll on the road. What happens when you jump on a toilet? What can we expect when you disassemble a sink? What happens if we do both at the same time in the same bathroom? Is it twice as much hydraulic force, or is it exponential? Is it geometric? Is it 4 times, 8 times as much? Well, I can tell you, these things all come into play. We play a game called Maybe It's in Here, and you get away into somebody's room and go, "Damn, I knew Bobby had that new Playboy issue in here somewhere. Maybe it's in here. Nope, not on the roof. Maybe it's in here. Nope, not behind the wallpaper. I know, he's clever. He knows I'm onto his game. Maybe it's under the sink. Nope, nothing under here but a bunch of nuts and bolts and a lot of water." And on and on. We would play Maybe It's in Here in cars. You get into a limousine, and maybe the driver had an attitude. In the late 70s, truck drivers were just switching over to long hair mode. Now every other truck driver today on the interstate's got long hair and a beard and speaks fluent jive. Not in the late 70s necessarily. So you might run into a hard case in a limousine. Wouldn't be unusual at all to lose your backstage pass in transit, and you have to switch right over to Maybe It's in Here mode. It's not behind the door jamb. And it's not behind the door frame. Maybe he sewed it into the cushion. Maybe when we made that stop at the Burger King, he found a backstage pass and sewed it into the backseat cushion. Easy enough to find. Nope, not here either. And you would pull up to the gig and something had to paint your wagon. You would fish somebody. A lot of times you would go down in the market areas of towns, get yourself a big frozen fish, like a cod, and you would pick somebody, preferably somebody who had registered the most dramatic negative reaction to any invasion of their space. They'd go right to the top of the list. What you do is you get into his room while he's downstairs working at the gig or whatever. He's got to come back after sound check and change his clothes. He goes to pull open a sock drawer. He's been fished. You hear the screams. Threats of belligerence are issued in all 4 points of the compass. Doors slam. Fish is retired down the hall into the ice maker for further fishing. Guy receives a call. Urgent. It's from the road manager. "We got a little problem with per diem. Can I see you for a minute?" Makes the critical error of leaving his door unlocked. Runs down the hall, finds out things are reconcilable, comes back, pulls the curtain, steps into the shower, looks down. He's been fished. Now the fish can fly. It goes out the window. Of course, getting fished was actually a matter of honor. It's running the gauntlet at Annapolis or whatever they do. It's an honor, knowing that all eyes are upon you, watching your reaction, to see if you're suitably passionate and dramatic, not placid and accepting. That's unacceptable. Getting fished is no time for meditational acceptance. It's a time for fury. We went out of our way to fish you. Now let's have some reaction. And of course, the optimal, being an offensive player, is being able to solicit retribution. To know that you fished so well that there's going to be some payback. And that gives you something to look forward to. Now you got something to think about on the bus, knowing that the hunter is now the hunted. Hey, I read that. That's in the Bible, isn't it? Goddamn. The mayhem would expand. Superglue happened at some point in the 70s. It's like the glue they used to put the bumps on the yellow line in the highway. Those aren't bolted in. They're glued to the asphalt with a super high density acrylic adhesive. One of our truck drivers knew somebody who was in construction work, so he got a bucket of it sent out. What you would do is call somebody down for an important meeting, and you'd need at least 4 to 6 guys to go into his room, and you'd take everything exactly as it's sitting, the beds, the chairs, the television, everything, and glue it upside down to the ceiling, reverse the room. You'd have 3 guys standing under an easy chair on top of another chair holding it to the ceiling until the glue set, and it would. The victim would come in and find everything but the mattress glued upside down to the ceiling in exact reverse of how he left it. Well, once you've seen one, you've seen them all. It was not unusual if somebody would come back blistering drunk from the bar and realize he'd been reversed and possibly fished. You couldn't glue the mattress, but that was it. The victim wouldn't wake up in the morning. They'd had disconnected their phone or whatever. You'd have to get the key from the bell guy, open up the door, and there would be somebody sleeping naked on a mattress with all the furniture, including their suitcases, glued to the ceiling. Everything. Magazines. If something was on the floor, you'd glue it to the ceiling exactly where you found it on the floor. It was art. Salvador Dali would have been proud.